Well, this is about as much wood as it'll take for one firing. Almost 2 cords of wood for each firing.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that's a lot of wood.
It's a lot of wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have to get it up to very high temperature, about 1,300 Celsius. So it's very hot. Yeah. So yeah, we'll burn all that. Mostly pine, and there's a little bit of oak there, but I prefer poplar because it produces some really interesting colors on the work. Doesn't get that hot, so I need pine to finish it off at the end of the firing to bring it all up to temperature. Here are some of the results from the last firing.
Very nice.
And these are some landscape pieces that I just got out of firing too.
So where do you get your inspiration from?
Nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just looking out my window. You know, that's why I live in the country. There's no end to the beauty and what could influence you or inspire you. So you can see that this is kind of a volcanic effect here, and that's just from the ashes from the wood and the embers from the fire that build up against the side of the pieces throughout the firing, and they leave that rough texture. And sometimes the wood ashes as well from the wood falls on the shoulders and melts to a glass at a high temperature and starts to run down. So that's why I use the wood kiln. The wood ashes and the gases given off from the burning wood has a dramatic effect on the work. So there's no other way of firing that can produce that. So I don't know if you can see the kiln. Is it too dark in here? Or yeah. So this is the wood kiln. So the work gets stacked up in here on high temperature clay shelves. And we put bricks in between to build the shelves up, and then we close it up with these bricks and smear just clay over the surface to seal it. And the same thing in here. And the work goes in there and it's all sealed up. And then we put wood in through the front here every 5 to 10 minutes for about 36 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So about 4 or 5 pieces go in every 5 to 10 minutes for that whole time. So you need a crew of people to manage it. And it slowly gets up to the final temperature, 1,300 Celsius, or about 2,300 Fahrenheit, a little bit higher. So it's really hot. It's like when you pull a little brick out to look inside, it's like looking straight at the sun. Yeah, that's how hot it is. So these are some of the pieces, a few of them anyways. And I'm one of the original artists who has taken part in the Interlake Artists Studio Tour called The Wave. It's been going for now 20 years, and it's been very successful. And the website is all one word, watchthewave.ca. And there's many artists, really good artists on that tour. So it's been very, very successful. So here's where I make the pieces. So I like to work in ways where, you know, your hands are right on. You can't walk away from the wood firing, for example. You have, like I said, you have to be there and put wood in every 5 to 10 minutes. There's other types of kilns that you can set a computer and have the computer do all the work for you. Well, no, you have to do all the work. And it's the same thing with the way I make most of my work. It's more hands-on with this antique potter's wheel. It's a foot-powered potter's wheel from England. And that's how it operates. It's a nice rhythm, nice sound. The electric wheels, they have that motor sound going all the time, and it's not all that inspiring. This is quite a meditative way of working. Now, would you like me to make a piece?
Sure, if you'd like to. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Pretty well everybody uses electric wheel. Mm-hmm. The foot power wheel is much more controllable. It has a way to adjust the speed and the torque subtly, and that's important for me. And again, I like the process, and that's very important for me to enjoy the process, because then that enjoyment flows through into the work that I make. So, okay, let's go over here to the wedging table. So this is where you might want to get a close-up of... So we need to make sure that there's no air in the clay. So we just knead it and force any air pockets out. Okay, let's go over to the wheel. If you have any questions, don't hesitate.
Just basically my only question for you is if people are interested in your pieces, do they just contact you and come
They
out?
can come by. Yeah. So I've been doing this for now almost 50 years. And never ceases to amaze me, the whole process. It's all about the clay. This clay is very old. It's hundreds of millions of years old. So it's kind of an interesting natural material that's just created by nature, and it's provided to us to make interesting things. So I'm very thankful that I've been able to work with this for so long. I do like making functional things that people use every day. Teacups, coffee cups, teapots and bowls, and cooking casseroles and serving dishes. This is a porcelain clay. It's very white.
Do you ever teach, do lessons out here?
Not out here. I've taught at the University of Manitoba, Brandon University, in Australia, at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. But no, I don't teach here. I don't have that much room to accommodate students' work.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to use natural materials. This is a coconut shell. Make my own tools out of whatever I can find.
And you're just moistening the clay with some water?
Yeah, it should be slippery most of the time so your hands don't tug on the clay. So, okay, and then, you refine the shape a little bit. I like it when it's not perfectly round, and I can distort it a little bit if I wanted to, just give it a little nice rhythm on the rim.
And after that, it goes, just sits and dries for a bit?
It will dry a little bit, and then I'll flip it over and put it back on the wheel like a wood lathe, for example, and I'll take a carving tool like this, and I'll carve out the bottom. So that foot will come in a little bit narrower there, and it'll make it look wider as a result of that. So that's what we call the trimming process, but it's too soft to do that right now. But I'll leave that sit for a while, and I can show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Oop. So I've left excess clay down in this region here, and that'll all be carved out, and the center will be carved out. So you can see there's extra clay there, so that'll come in nicely. So it's in a way it's like sculpture. We're creating form, and everything, even small things can make big differences in how you perceive and see the form. Most of my colors are geared to nature, what I see out this window.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of, I've done a lot of long-running series called Out My Studio Window. So all those platters that you see there are influenced by what I see in different seasons, the spring and the fall. And, so I've done a lot of work overseas. I've done lots of travel and exhibitions in China and Korea, in Thailand. This is one that I made in Korea, and I brought it back. So a lot of my work has been done overseas. And I make sushi plates for serving. But I like things with natural edges to it, like the what do they call it? Live edge wood tables and things. It's the same with the clay. It's nice to express the quality of the clay. Instead of trying to totally control it, I like to give it a little bit of its own voice.
Right.
Because it's such a spectacular material that's provided to us from nature, that it's nice to allow it to have a little bit of say in the process. So that's another reason why I use the wood kiln and the foot-powered wheel, because they're natural processes that just add to that kind of experience for me, and hopefully for my customers as well.
Great. Well, thank you very much for allowing us to visit your shop.
And thanks for coming and sharing your project with us as well.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Okay. You get it going and you have momentum. And then you work on the clay. And it slows down, you just give it another kick. But again, it's a nice rhythm, it's very smooth. I have more finite control over the speed and the torque. And I like the sound. It's a very soft, gentle, natural sound. So it kind of stirs up creative juices, I think, as opposed to the electric sound that you get from the other wheels. I much prefer this. And this is the very